Thanks for listening to Flamingly Unfiltered
Reddit stories.
Reddit stories. This one's in Apartmentliving, the subreddit.
Okay.
Never have a sexual relationship with somebody in your building. It ain't worth it.
Uh-oh.
So this woman in my building kept making idle convo with me. Eventually, she asked for us to exchange numbers, so I did. We started texting. One thing led to another. We ended up having sex a few times. Now I told her from the beginning I'm focused on improving my life right now. I don't want a girlfriend, but hey, if you just want to have fun, we can have fun. So the more we had sex, the more she kept randomly showing up at my door at all hours, starting asking to hang out.
Uh-oh.
Stage 5 clinger.
Yikes.
And it just began to be what I said I wasn't looking for, so I cut her off. Fast forward, my windows have been busted out twice. She's emptied a whole bag of trash in front of my apartment door and took my clothes out of the washer mid-wash and dumped them on the floor. I'm too embarrassed to tell my leasing office about the situation. I don't want to involve the police. Basically, I guess I'm just going to have to move, and it sucks because I love my apartment. I even tried talking to her, and she's been very kind, talking to her and being very kind about it, but her response is to go back to how it used to be, or she will keep doing stuff. Any advice? Which is like so wild to be like, I just broke out your windows and trashed your front stop and took it, but do you want to have sex?
But do you want to keep dating? See, that is where like those things trip me out and stress me out, because it's like I've said this 1,000 times.
It's such a good cautionary tale. Like, do not get involved with anybody in your apartment, because like if you don't know them before moving to that apartment, you know?
Yeah, right. Like, oh, you smashed out my windows. I love you.
Yeah.
You know, like, why would you think that's? And I say this. I've said this 1,000 times. Like, think about that. Like, I had sex with a stranger. I'm going crazy. I'm gonna smash out his windows, and then he's gonna go back to having sex with me again. It's like, you really think that's how life works and how that's gonna go down? Okay.
Delusional.
Is there more comments or anything like that?
A lot.
Okay.
Also, my building has entry locks and a parking garage with limited access, and that's what makes me so mad, is that no other woman would easily be making my life this hellish if she didn't live in the building.
That's true.
So that's the first post.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so update. That's the title with update behind it. So yesterday I posted about a problem I was having with a woman in my apartment building who had started making my life hell after we had casual sex a few times, and I decided to cut her off. Well, this morning I took off work, went to the leasing office, and explained the situation to the leasing lady. I explained and showed her all the evidence because she has pictures and texts and all that stuff. She was more mad about it than I was, and basically said I should have came to her first time she did anything. I was so glad that she understood the situation. She said she's going to check the parking garage cameras for the broken window situation. She's also going to send old girl an email saying that doing stuff like this is grounds for eviction. She said she can't evict her yet until she has proof, but she's going to look for it. She's dedicated to getting it. Thanks everyone for the advice. And then we have one more update. So this morning, the leasing lady calls me and tells me to come to the office. I get there, and there she is in 4K crystal clear footage of old girl breaking my windows out on 2 different occasions. Old girl didn't cover her face or nothing. Plus, one time she broke them out. She went to her car to get something before going back into the building, which I'm sure was like, you know, like her car is registered or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Not only did she have the car footage, but she had the elevator footage of old girl taking out a bag of trash to my floor, then getting back to the elevator with an empty bag.
What an idiot. So
leasing lady asks if I want to call the cop with the empty bag.
Right.
She's like, oh, I'm going to still use this.
Oh, yeah. Repurpose. Smart.
Oh, so leasing lady asked if I wanted to call the cops, and I said nah, because I honestly just try to deal with the police as least as possible, and that she can handle it however she wants to. I just need to leave me alone or else I'm going to have to move. She said, okay, I'm going to take care of it. A couple hours later, leasing lady calls me and said the cops just came and picked old girl up. I'm like, what? She said, yeah, she called the cops and told them she had a tenant who's been breaking in cars at night. She said that since it happened on apartment property, the leasing agency can file charges without me.
Oh, cool.
She said she didn't mention me or anything. She said also she's getting evicted. On top of that, gave me a $300 rent credit for next month to help cover any window repairs.
That's nice.
In her words, that lunatic should have never been living here in the first place. That's like the first time I've ever heard of a good leasing agent.
Yeah, doing right. That's clever though, I suppose. Like, yeah.
Damn, got laid and got paid. Wow.
I suppose they don't have to call you in because it's like the property on top of their property, so they can press charges.
Yeah.
Which that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just too lazy to do shit like this.
A duty.
Well, that too, but
you know.
Yeah, but I guess I've always heard of slumlords. They're just
exactly.
That's what I was saying. Like, they're like, grow up. Like, sucks for you. You should.
A normal leasing agent. Yeah. If they took out the laundry, they'd be like, okay,
pick it up.
Drama.
Yeah, you're just
like they'd evict you. Bringing the drama
for starting shit. Great, now I have to file paperwork.
But damages is a different level.
Yeah. Am I the asshole for not parenting another woman's child? I, 27-year-old female, have been dating my boyfriend, 31 male, for about 2 years. Before I met him, I had no kids. I did want some of my own eventually. I was not used to having children around in my life. I see my sister's kids, but I don't babysit. Kids were a deal breaker for me, but I dismissed the fact that he had a daughter because I liked him so much and we connected a lot. On our first date, he let me know that the agreement that he has with his baby mama. He would get his daughter for 1 year and she would get her the next, which I thought was wild. I'm like, this kid is going to live with only one parent for a whole year, like flip-flop houses every year. I'd be like, that's exhausting. But whatever works. So it seemed like he already had arrangements with his baby mama. I found out from his aunt that he is still married to her, and I almost left, but I decided to look past it and asked him to start getting a divorce, which he still hasn't done. Then I got pregnant. Her mom stopped all contact. She decided that she is not... Okay, this is a sentence. Her mom stopped all contact. She decided that she not taking her daughter and she stopped calling her. So then I had to deal with the backlash and be mom. I decided to move in with my boyfriend and things were getting better. His daughter had a better attitude, her chores were getting done, and we were bonding more than ever. She goes to see her grandpa for the summer. I did not have a problem with this until I found out that her mom was staying there. She goes out and sees them. I thought her mom would be more involved now that they have this bonding time. When she got back, her mom made promises she couldn't keep, so she was in a bad headspace again, throwing attitude, not doing her chores, and being defiant towards me. So I tried my best to understand because her mom was causing her pain, and I related to it because my dad walked out on me too. I was working at a job and the job wasn't going to pay for my maternity leave, so I had to leave my job to find another job, but our schedules were too complicated to watch the children, so I decided to be a stay-at-home mom. My boyfriend is a great man, but he has ADHD, so he forgets and procrastinates. I set up and make sure the kids go to their appointments and take care of them regularly. My stepdaughter just got into a new school, and my boyfriend wants me to be the one picking her up and taking care of her. I have gotten to a point where he's putting a lot of the parenting on me, and it's getting overwhelming. I told him today that I don't want to have to be the one taking care of his daughter all the time and picking her up from school. I gave him the option that she could get on the public bus, which have a safe place for sign for kids. I told him to figure it out and that he needs to find people to watch his daughter and get her from school most of the time because I feel like he's putting so much on me and not holding his baby mama accountable by not putting her on child support and not taking his divorce seriously. Am I the asshole?
Am I the asshole for asking, essentially him to
figure it out?
Like, his kids. Like, mostly take care of his kids.
Well, he has the one daughter, the one kid from previous, and now their new kid.
Oh,
so
okay.
She's taking care of both of them. They have
2 kids. Okay.
Yeah. And, like, I guess from my understanding is that baby mama is kind of ditching, which is whatever, but it's also, she's asking, like, it's not my responsibility to take care of your kid because it's a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, like, way more to the story, and he doesn't, like, probably do anything.
Well, yeah,
unfortunately.
She's like, he has ADD, and it's like, well, that doesn't matter. Like,
that, so,
I mean, yes,
that
and
part
no.
of, because I think Yeah, not having ADHD, I think, is hard to say, but
Yeah.
just from my perspective, I don't have ADHD, or at least I'm not diagnosed, but I do have a really shitty memory. Very shitty.
Hmm.
And I wouldn't say that my attention span is like shitty too, because I am able to hold attention to things and like if I really want to, like I focus on it. But I feel like as you become older, you develop techniques for yourself to remember. Like because of my shitty memory, because I know I'm not going to remember to do something, I now like set a reminder on my phone, or like I'll put a sticky note like in my workstation, or I'll email myself.
Hmm.
Like I just like remember to do these things. And yeah, I mean, we don't have kids either, but
Yeah, things still get forgotten.
I just feel like yeah, that's like you can't say oh he has ADHD, because it's like you still have to like, because you have ADHD now it's your responsibility to develop techniques so that you can live.
Or yeah, like make sure you're taking your meds every day, or you know,
Yeah.
whatever. See, and I think of the
So it's just
whole
not an excuse.
I
But
think of the whole story as kind of like I see both sides. Like, well, you walked into this years ago knowing he has a kid, so you knew what you were signing up for. And then I feel like if you've been in the kid's life for a while, it's not new, so you'd probably develop a flow, and you know, like
I could see it like developing that she does more as the years get on too. So it's just
yeah,
like hard to be like, okay, well, I know I've been doing all this stuff, but now I'm burnt out, you know?
yeah, you're burnt out, which is what I was gonna say too. Like, but on the other hand, it really isn't her job, and she has to take care of her baby,
Yeah.
which I understand. Like, I'm gonna pay attention to my baby, not your stranger baby. Like,
Stranger.
you know, like I don't know her. But then it's like, yeah, then
Who is she?
but then also like you have to crack down and be like, you're getting a divorce, which why aren't you divorced anyway? You're getting that taken care of. You're gonna get child support. Baby mama is either in this kid's life or not. I'm gonna set the ground rules or it's not happening. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be more stern with it, you know?
I have no stupid questions. Why aren't innocent questions like, what is your favorite dinosaur, more commonplace in conversations between adults?
Oh.
I work as a medical professional, and yesterday I was drawing blood from a teenage male patient. He was visibly nervous to the sight of the needle, so I told him to keep talking to me to distract himself. The first thing he asked me was, which one of your fingers is your favorite? I was a little taken back by the question because, frankly, no one has ever asked me that in my life before. We chatted for some time till I was done, but it reminded me of my childhood when questions like, what is your third favorite planet in the solar system,
That's
was common between us children. Why do we never do that as adults with strangers or even between friends? Why do conversation topics have to be so serious all the time?
Yeah, that's a great thought.
It is so true. I always think about like going to the office, even with friends that I've made in the office, you still have a wall.
Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, you're not gonna go in there and be like, "Oh my god, I had explosive diarrhea the other day," because it's like that's
Right.
That's nothing I want to talk about. But if
Yeah.
you're like, "Yeah, do you like mermaids?" Be like, "Oh yeah, I fucking love mermaids."
So what is your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, that's a hard one. I like the one where like the little fan goes up and he's like, "Ah!"
Oh yeah.
It spits
That one
grease or
in
whatever.
Jurassic Park.
That one's cute. I guess I like woolly mammoths because they're furry, and they're gonna be coming around soon. They're making those. I think the first woolly mammoth is gonna be born, I think, this year. I like the flying ones. Oh no, Megalodon, the shark. That's my favorite. I've decided. How about you?
Mine is a Quetzalcoatl.
Quetzalcoatlus, or as Quetzalcoatlus.
I think you've told me this before.
Yeah. Because I used to be into dinosaurs. Well, not like super into dinosaurs, but I had like a dinosaur book, and they were my personality for a little bit. But yeah, this little guy.
Yep. What's your favorite finger?
My favorite finger, I would say my thumbs.
Oh, you
And
need
it's
that.
really sad because they're my like video games and stuff like required, and they're my less So all my other fingers have issues.
Oh yeah, your dead one.
My dead one, which actually is my right one, because like in the winter it'll go colder than the rest.
Mhm.
And then my left one is like basically broken.
Yeah.
Index fingies. These guys, these are useless to me. This left one is so like I can't do anything. Like listen to this weak little crack. It sounds like it's gonna break.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's gonna break.
It sounds
Like
dainty.
it's bad. So I guess yeah, my thumbs, pinkies are useless.
I think
Thank
about
God for my thumbs.
I think about how we've evolved like with thumbs, and do you know like sometimes I I do that like water trick when you're filling up a cup, you know, like on Smallville, how he put your tip of your finger in the cup if you're blind, so you know that to stop filling up the cup.
Oh yeah.
I do that sometimes with whatever I'm doing. I'll not use my thumbs on purpose just in case I lose them
To practice.
for practice.
Or like walking around your house blind.
Yep.
I've done that before.
I do that all the time.
Do you?
Yep. Just to practice.
Still?
Yeah, just to practice in case the power goes out.
You actually do that
Or
still
if I
right
go
now.
blind.
When was the last time we did it?
Last night.
For real?
Yeah, I do that almost every day.
Well, the night makes sense.
Yeah,
Because
at
the
night.
lights are off.
Yeah,
But
but
you're not going to turn on the lights.
yeah, I do it almost every day, just in case I go
That
blind.
is so interesting. I don't do it every day, but I've definitely done it. I'm not like shutting my eyes and like walking around the house.
Yeah.
Though. Do you do that?
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no. Like, but if it's just like pitch black, I'll pretend I'm blind.
Right. Because it's black.
Yeah.
Oh, like it's dark out.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Yes.
you don't want to turn the lights on.
Yeah. I don't
That's
like.
not pretending you're blind. That's just traversing with what you have.
I don't turn the lights on because you know I don't like wasting electricity.
Oh my god. Triggered.
Trigger. Or 14 cents a year.
Third favorite planet. Okay, so first favorite would be Jupiter because of the rings. Or no, Saturn because of the rings.
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter. Mars.
Let's take it to the stars.
I'm glad you got the reference right away. Okay. Let's take it to the stars. Venus. Probably in that order. Okay, so no, yeah. Jupiter. I would say Venus probably is my third favorite. Woman power. Venus. Saturn, Jupiter, Venus.
I like the sun because it's nice and warm.
That's not a planet, that's a
Oh
star.
yeah, you're right.
Because it's nice and warm. Just melts your skin off. You get 1 degree, like 1 inch closer to the sun, we're just dead.
Right, just evaporated.
Love it.
Love it there. I always remember being obsessed with Pluto because it was the farthest away. Yeah. And then it was purple or blue.
And like now it's not even a planet
Now
anymore.
it's maybe not, I think they're bringing it back.
Right.
But I don't know.
I think I heard that too.
I think they're bringing it back because they felt bad. Because they're like, it
Like,
is.
oh,
It is. Don't leave him
look
out.
at him.
Just bullying Pluto.
You can't take the planet out of Pluto.
Yeah.
You can take the Pluto out of planet, but you can't take the planet out of Pluto.
So true.
Or is it the opposite?
No, you're
You
good.
can't take the planet out of Pluto, but you can take the planet out of Pluto, but you can't take Pluto out of the planet.
There we go.
It's still in there. It's still gravitational force. It's still being pulled.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still doing all the other things of the planets.
Yeah, I like Jupiter because it's like swirly and pretty. Which is that? Is it Jupiter that's all gas, or is it Saturn that's all gas?
I don't know. It's this ass that's all gas.
It's me. I'm the planet.
I'm a gaseous planet.
I'm a gaseous planet.
I'm a big gas, or what are they called? A giant gas.
Yep, that's me.
I like icebreakers that are abnormal. Like,
Yeah.
I love every once in a while, like once in a blue moon, if somebody's like, "Oh, icebreaker," I always pull out. If you could have a liquid come out of your finger, what 2 liquids would you have come out of your index fingers?
Yeah,
I
that
love
sounds
that
funny.
question.
It's so funny because it's so
dumb.
stupid.
Because people are like, I'd have gas and like
Sell it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and sell it, and then liquid gold or whatever.
Right. But yeah,
Lube.
Just going around to the club. Boop, 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 touching all the buttholes.
Oh my god. That would be actually really handy though.
Right. Just a little perfect.
Okay, we're cutting that. Another, yeah. What's your favorite dinosaur?
Yeah, not like the basic ones. Like, what's your favorite color? Who's your favorite singer? It's like, who cares?
Yeah, thought-provoking stuff that you've never, like, you've thought of,
Yeah, that was like that's
but you haven't at the same time, you know?
that was like the one guy at Dairy Queen that his brain was fried from taking too much acid, and he would always ask weird questions. Then the question he asked me, he's like, what would you prefer do? Would you prefer go skydiving, or would you prefer sing the national anthem naked in front of your whole school? And I'm like, what do you think? Like, and like, what do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go skydiving
Yeah.
1 billion times over doing anything naked in front of my school.
Yeah.
Like, those were his types of questions.
That's a bad example.
I know, but I'm just like, I just thought it was funny.
Would you rather is fun, but yeah, they have to be like perfect 50-50s.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was like heavily weighted for skydiving to win.
Right.
So going from a funny topic like loop fingers.
Yeah, right. And what are your funny questions?
Yeah, that's a great idea. What are your dumb random one-off questions?
Yeah.
That aren't like, yeah, what's your favorite color or what's your favorite candy bar?
Well, what is your favorite color and your favorite candy bar?
My favorite color is yellow, and my favorite candy bar is probably Snickers.
Purple and
Those
Butterfinger.
gross.
Or a Chico stick.
Oh, gross. No good, caca.
I think it's funny that you don't like Butterfinger, but you like Reese's.
They're totally different.
Sure. Butterfinger's a crunchy Reese's.
A crunchy
and you don't
Reese's.
like crunchy, and that's weird.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Am I the asshole sister using her baby to punish my family? 3 years ago, my wife and I had our first child, the first baby in the family. My sister always looked like she wasn't going to have kids, but did have her dog, a massive Labrador. I'm a big fan of the dog, but my wife understandably was a little nervous, and whilst she would tolerate the dog at family events pre-baby, when her child was born, she didn't want the dog around her child. Nothing was ever said to the sister, and she did visit us occasionally without the dog, but I think she cottoned on to there were family meetups that she was no longer invited to, as we didn't want the dog around our child. Fast forward, and now my sister has had a baby of her own. We want the cousins to grow up close, but every time we offer to visit, she says we have to leave our child behind because she doesn't want the toddler around her baby. Our child is too rough, and they might bring germs in from the nursery. Just to be clear, this baby is around the massive dog all day, so I don't think germs are really an issue. It does feel like she's playing tit for tat, or am I just being paranoid? I don't think we were wrong protecting our baby from her dog, so I am struggling now to see how she is taking the moral high ground. I just think this is so juvenile and petty. Like, if it's a fresh baby, I'd be like, no, like, I don't want anyone around my fresh baby because toddlers are gross and they do have germs. But it's like, if this baby is 1 and the kid is 4, the other kid is 4, it's like, let him play. And then what a silly thing to be petty over us saying don't bring your dog around our baby. Yeah, the first comment is like, you're the asshole because you didn't explain why you didn't want her to come around. So if you were polite and said, I don't want the dog around my baby, she'd probably be more understanding.
Okay, so while reading the story, I was thinking that like communication is key here. Like, even with the comment of like, well, now I think she's trying to get back at me for our toddler and like saying that our toddler can't be around, but she's vocalizing what's wrong or like what she's uncomfortable with and not just not inviting you.
Yeah.
So I think that is the key here is like, you didn't invite, like your whole family didn't invite her because she had this big dog. But yeah, just say that.
Just say that.
What you're uncomfortable with is the big dog.
And I feel like anybody with a brain would be like, oh, wow, that does make sense.
Yes.
I don't want my dog to step on or scratch the baby.
Well, and like, especially like newborn. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, like brand newborn. Like, obviously I'm not going to bring my dog around. I think that probably, like, that would be frustrating to have to vocalize that because I think that probably is like obvious.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a huge Labrador, like, I think, yeah, leaving the dog at home is probably obvious, but then say it.
Yeah.
You know, if it's not, like, if they're not getting it, then say it, and then then if they have an issue, that's when you don't invite her.
Right.
You know, it's like, well, then I can't, like, we can't invite you.
You can't. Yeah, if you have to bring your dog, you can't come.
And so now you're like in your head, like, oh, she's trying to get back at me. Say something.
Yeah.
Like, just start talking.
Be like, are you being
like,
a brat?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I have this inner monologue. Are you mad because we didn't invite?
Yeah.
And then, like, also, like, think about what you're saying. Are you mad that we didn't invite you?
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
like, yeah, you're kind of being a dick.
Yeah.
By not inviting them.
Right.
At all.
Well,
and not saying anything.
I'm assuming they'd probably word it something different. Like, are you mad that you couldn't come because you have a dog? You know, that's probably
From
how
the
they
story.
probably
They didn't even say that to her.
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They just
like,
didn't invite her.
Yeah, but I'm saying like that's how they'd have to ask again.
Yeah.
You know.
I know. That's why I like stopped and reread it because I'm like, wait, that actually does make sense that the poster is the asshole.
But then on the flip side of it too, like, if I don't want anybody around my baby, they're not coming over. You know, like
exactly.
It could just be that like you're more of a lax parent and you don't care if your puppy or your dog licks your baby's face. I think it's disgusting. You know, or like I know your toddler is at preschool touching all the other shit that other kids are touching. Children are gross. I don't want your baby around my baby, and that could be it, you know.
For sure,
it does make sense. Like you can say those things as a parent, but if it's as petty as the dog situation, I'd be like, grow up.
I think like say what you're thinking is always a general rule, and not just like
assume.
Be petty and passive aggressive.
Yeah,
don't be passive. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Okay, that's it.
Okay, bye.
Thanks so much for listening to our Reddit stories. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe.
Tell your friends.
Tell us your Reddit stories.
If you have good Reddit stories. If you have good Reddit stories, or
good subreddits, whatever you want.
If you have a story and you want to write it up and private message one of us to read it out loud,
then we'll read it.
And we'll read it. That would be fun as well.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to a few.
New episodes out every Monday.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Flamingly Unfiltered for updates.
Now available.
Available.
Now available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Apple Pod.
Apple Pod.